Hi, team. I am so excited to be sharing with you today and what I believe are some really important tips on going gold. So, the goal of this video is to kind of walk you through some activity that will get you from gold, which is about 100 pay points, to emerald, which is 1,500 pay points by July 31st of this year. Now, the first thing I want to say is if you do not hit emerald by July 31st, you have not failed. All you have done is changed your goals. So sometimes what happens is we get this thing in mind. I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they get their focus in mind, and if it deviates from this, then they failed. What's interesting is sometimes we are taken on a different path than the path we want, or the path we think we're on. So your goal right now may be Maui, and I really want it to be Maui. I want every single one of y'all, not Maui, in Kona. We're moving islands this year. I want you in Kona with us next year. But what I want more than anything is for you to feel like you are doing the very best you can do at your job. This is not a hobby anymore. If you're watching this, it has become a job. It's become something that you want to work at day in and day out to succeed greatly. What if you get to July 31st and you don't hit emerald, but you hit senior ruby? What if you hit emerald in September, October, or even December, and you get a part of that pay pool, you get a part of the Lexus, and in 2017, you are guaranteed to go with us on the Emerald Extravaganza. I really want you to set some amazing, incredible goals right now, but I want you to give yourself a little bit of grace that if you don't hit it, that it's okay. But you will have the goal to hit emerald. Sometimes it's not the timeline, but it's the activity getting to that timeline. So one of my genius team members said yesterday, so what you're saying is you want us to pay attention to your activity and not your timeline. And that is so true. My timeline's a little crazy. In fact, it's a little bit insane, to the point that nobody else on our team has done it. And there's only about 5 or 6 people in the company that have probably done it nearly in the same time zone, same time frame. So just so you know, I am Andrea Mitchell, and I am a Diamond Silver Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. What diamond means is that I've hit the top of the company. What silver means is when I got all the way to the tippy top and a little bit over, they let me become my own level 1. I signed myself up, and I'm doing it all over again. What's interesting is my journey getting here. I signed up on November 30th of 2013. I went silver 12 days later. I went gold 6 weeks later, or Roz did the math. I did it 44 days later. I went senior gold my next month, so February of 2014. I went ruby and senior ruby in March, and I went emerald at the very last second of April. So 5 months beginning to end. It was a whirlwind. And I don't think it's going to happen for everybody, but I do think that you can go emerald by the end of July. And that gives everyone from now until the end of July 7 months. I think it's extremely possible. So a lot of people go, okay, what are you going to talk about? What I want to talk about is real life application. So I'm the person in Sunday school at church that our Bible study leader will talk, and at the very end of this phenomenal lesson, I will raise my hand, and it's kind of a joke now, but I will raise my hand and say, what is the life application of this? I love the life of Daniel, but tell me how Daniel's life applies to me. So what this is this is how Andrea's journey applies to you. This is what you can do to make my journey as Andrea and what I learned apply in little bits and pieces to your life. So you may say, oh, that doesn't apply, I'll throw that out. But you know what? That does. And yesterday I did this call, and I got so much feedback of, oh my gosh, you said this one line, and that just changed it for me. And that's kind of the neat part about what we do, is it's not this whole presentation, it's not the hour-long conversation we're about to have. but it really is about what are you going to pick out of here that changes your trajectory. So you might think you're shooting for, ruby in the next year. What you really need to be shooting for is emerald. And so what are we even starting out with? So if you are a gold ambassador right now, that means you have 100 points, either last month or you're planning on having them this month. You are the second level of the company. You have the ability to go emerald by July 31st because I was gold in January and went emerald by July 31st. So it is possible. You need 100 points to be gold and you need 1,500 points to go emerald. But let's just go to the next level. You need 250 to go senior gold. My challenge to you is to go senior gold by March 15th, and we'll talk a little bit about how that's even going to be possible. Break down your goals. I did a breakdown on our team page of what it looks like to go from gold to emerald in this amount of time. And what it is it's how many ambassadors on average you need at the end of the month to stay on target. And you know what happens is you get to the end of the month and you might be 5 short or 20 short or 50 short. You just add that to the next month and you try to ramp up. It's always about doing the work this month to work towards the goal of next month. So what I always did is if I wanted to go senior gold in February, I wanted 50 ambassadors by the end of January. Because what that is, it went ahead and set me up that all 50 of those people would carry over to the next month. And I would go senior gold, even with all the new people we were adding that were commission qualifying. So, why do I think it's important to push you from gold to senior gold? Or what should be some of the things that push you in general? So the first thing that pushed me was that I'm competitive. And I don't really say I'm competitive by nature. I'm not sure anybody in my family would ever say I'm just a naturally competitive person. Ellen Ford would probably be something that if you know her, you would say she's a naturally competitive person. Not really my nature. But Plexus brought it out in me. I signed up and quickly started ranking, and about that time I realized, I wonder how fast everybody else did it. I had heard Rosalind's timeline and Celeste's timeline, but not really anybody else's. And so I got on the Destination Diamond Dream Team page and asked on there how fast the jewels went to certain levels. I really wanted to beat those numbers. It just became a competition that I started within myself. And I got all their averages in a spreadsheet. I figured out how long it was going to get to senior gold and ruby and senior ruby. And I set out to beat that average. That was a personal decision of mine. They'd already hit it. So I wasn't directly competing with them. I was just competing with their numbers. And so sometimes that happens. We compete with leaderboard. We compete with other people that we know are doing competitions with us. And just, contests that we're doing on team pages. And it's a healthy competition because you're not fighting against each other. You really are just trying to be the best you that you can be. So my very first thing was my competition with other people's timelines. My second one is that my very first ambassador is my sister. And I loved that I could do things to help her out. And my training, my enthusiasm, my growth, all of those things would help out her team. And come to find out a year later, as she went through a divorce, that we really needed her team to grow. We really needed that for her. So it was really one of those things that God set up ahead of time and me being able to help her grow her team. And then the third thing that I really remember focusing on at the beginning was how did this help Rosalind? So Rosalind was my sponsor. She's also one of my dear friends who I admired and trusted and adored. And she needed to quit her job. And I knew that my team growth was going to have a direct reflection on whether or not she got to quit that job, whether or not she got to stay home with her kids. And honestly, whether or not she's going to be around to help us. She worked full time and it was hard to get a hold of her. And I loved that I could call Rosalind every month and say, how close are you? How much closer are we as a team? But really, how much closer are you to your goals? And that was exciting for me month after month. I can still remember looking and going, oh my gosh, she's so much closer. If my team can just get to here, then she can get to here. And we're just that much closer to her goals. And so I think sometimes not just thinking about yourself, but the other people above your team and below your team that you are directly helping really kind of takes us out of the equation. I would say in that is to post your why today. Karis Dunn, who's a brand new ambassador on my team, posted her why today. And I think her Facebook audience got a real insight into the fact that she's not just peddling snake oils with Plexus, that she really has a heart behind what it is that she's doing and why she's sharing it. And they may not want to sign up today, but in 6 months when they're in the same situation that Karis is in, they might reach out to her. And so I really think it's important to share your why on Facebook. So my very first challenge to you out of this would be to share your why. If you've done it in a video before, I would encourage you to write it out and include a picture that correlates with it. And if you've done a picture before and a write out of everything, I would really encourage you to do a video. Be exciting, be authentic and genuine. Be yourself on the video. But I would really encourage you to try to connect with your Facebook audience on why it is that you do what we do. Because I am not going to be the first to tell you it's terrifying and people don't get it. And some people will never get it. But I want you to be intentional about telling them why. So when I went gold, I have the time I went gold, which is January 14th of 2014, out of those people that were on my team, 4 of them now are senior gold and above. So depending on where you are, but about 20 to 50 people on your team, 4 of those people will probably still be with you 2 years from now and probably be senior gold or above. When I went senior gold, so at least 50 of my ambassadors, 13 of those are senior gold and above. So what's interesting about that is that not everybody's going to continue this journey with you. But find the people that really want it. Find the people that have a good why and a strong why, that you can challenge them to their why, and figure out how y'all can do this together. That really is a huge key. So out of those 13, 6 are jewels, 3 are senior ruby, 1 is ruby, and 3 are senior gold. Now, I'm just going to discuss my jewels with you a little bit because I think it'll help you get a little bit of insight into how my team grew so fast. So my sister Sarah was my very first ambassador. She signed up just because she saw me posting not about weight loss and energy, but really about health and wellness and things that might help with her IBS symptoms and also her anxiety. And she has a phenomenal story, just testimonial. And but at the time, she just wanted something to work. Y'all, she went silver before her welcome pack ever came in. She needed it to work. Ellen Ford was next. She signed up just because she was having a little bit of sugar cravings. I think she really signed up to help Barry with the products. And what ended up happening is she signed up one person as an ambassador, got that $25 check, and realized that if she was consistent about this, that it could actually allow her to stay home with her 10-year-old twins and 9-year-old twins and quit her job of 17 years. It's a phenomenal company. Third one was Kim Public. Kim has been one of my best friends since we were single running around, and we were bridesmaids in each other's weddings. She's just such a dear friend, and she's also a holistic health coach. So I know Kim might be kind of a rough one for me to get to sign up, but she did. She tried the products. She loved them. She was going through some grief in her life, and she has a very public sugar addiction, and she jumped on board. She both wanted the products. She wanted them to really work for her and for her clients, and she wanted to be able to do health coaching full time, which it's allowed her to do now. In fact, they're closing on their house they're building in Colorado in the next couple of weeks. Becky Page was number 4 on my list of order of signing up of jewels. And Becky is a Sapphire ambassador now. Becky and I were in each other's weddings as well. And she's been a dear friend through my entire marriage and a gift. And Becky signed up, I think because she really thought the products were worth it, but quickly realized that as soon as Rachael Eagle and Lindsay Carricker came on board, that it would be a huge business opportunity for her. And that leads me right into Rachael Eagle, who we all know is our resident hormone, adrenal, thyroid, all things medical guru. And she saw the products worked already, but she really wanted the business to work, and she wanted to be able to be a stay-at-home mom, which she is. Leslie Andrew was one of the only jewels on my team, one of 2 jewels on my team now that I didn't know prior to Plexus. And Leslie has gotten to quit her photography business and do Plexus full time as she's about to have another baby. And all this to say is everyone signed up for different reasons. And they signed up with different people for different reasons. But they all signed up really with a goal in mind. So figure out what your goal is. So what is a runner? These are 6 runners on my team, obviously. And what is a runner exactly? Here's a few things that you might want to jot down when you're looking for a runner on your team. Are they competitive in any way, shape, or form? Are they competitive with other people, just in day-to-day life? Are they competitive with just comments? Are they competitive? Are they outgoing in that way? Are they a go-getter? Do they just go for it every time? If they volunteer at church, are they willing to just step up and get things done? Are they a self-starter? Do they, start new clubs or organizations at our church? Would it be like someone that decides they want to be the social chair of the Sunday school class, like I did? Someone that wants answers. Someone that really is willing to ask. Becky Page asked me almost on a daily basis another question about the products, and I was willing to just answer them as the questions were asked. Do they want to be their own boss? Do they view themselves as a leader? I wouldn't say I did, but if I examined it a little further, I can see why other people would. Do they want it more than you do? So the people I listed on my out of my 6, they all wanted it regardless of what their uplines did. They caught the vision and they were willing to run with or without anybody above them dragging them along. Do not let the temperature of your upline determine the goal of your business. If your upline is not training you, is not helping you, is not leading you, do it yourself. Be the leader. Be the go-getter. Be the one that finds the answers. Find the people above them that are willing to help you out. Do not determine your rise or fall in this business based on what your upline does. It is not fair. You have your own business. You be the runner. You be the go-getter. You be the self-starter, and you be your own boss. Are you willing to do the activity it requires to get the job done? There will be activity required if you want to reach Emerald. So a couple of things we need to get rid of. We know some things that we need. What do we need to get rid of? Pride and insecurity. So I know, I can hear everybody cringe out there. We all have pride and we all have insecurity. Let me tell you a couple of things. One, when you're posting, whether it's your first post or your 5,000th post, it's not about you. Yes, people may say, oh, I wish you would stop. Do you know what? I had someone make fun of me very early in the business, and I messaged them privately, actually a couple of people, but one specific, messaged them privately and said, you know what? You own your own business, and you think your business is really viable and important, and you can tell me, why it's important that you're in a high rise and you have a secretary and you have all these things, and you think your business is more important than mine. But you know what? It's the same. I would never in a million years ever on social media say, oh, I wish you would stop talking about your business. I wish you would stop talking about how important your product is. Because you see value in it. And you know what? I see value in you. And so when you disregard what I do with Plexus, when you don't like my marketing or, reaching out techniques, then you're telling me that you don't value me enough to be supportive of me. You don't have to join my team. You don't have to try my products. But I would prefer that you be supportive of me as a person. And you know what? That person was very apologetic. They realized that they see network marketing in a certain light, but it was my business. It's what was affording us certain things. And it's what was putting us in a different bracket and availability of things. And so when they were being negative, they thought they were being funny, but it was really hurtful. And when I told them that it was hurtful, and not in a demonstrative way, I just said, hey, what you're doing hurts my feelings. They were very apologetic. And that happened a couple of times. In fact, one person said, you know what, you're right. I just wish we could do with our project what you're able to do with Plexus in marketing. And so they saw that what we were doing with just blowing up Facebook was really changing the course of our business, and they wish they could do that same thing. And so sometimes it's a little bit of jealousy, sometimes it's not understanding, and sometimes it just doesn't matter. You just need to let them know that it's not okay to talk like that, or to respond like that, or to comment like that. Some people don't care, but I haven't had that problem. Anybody I've addressed with it has always been very apologetic and very understanding. But one thing I have to tell you is when I post on Facebook, I never thought anybody would care. I signed up on November 30th, 2013, and my very first post was November 30th, 2013, and I have not stopped posting since. My posts have probably changed a little bit. I posted probably 8 testimonials a day back then. And it's probably changed just because my business has changed a little bit. But that doesn't mean that if I was doing it all over again, that's exactly how I would do it. I think it really showed people I was serious about it, that the products weren't going anywhere. They were helping with a myriad of different things. And I was really in for the long haul. And so don't think that everyone really cares about what you post. There will be a few people. There will always be a few people that love to say, oh, I wish she would stop posting. I wish people would stop selling things on Facebook. But you know what? People sell their sports team. All day long on a Saturday, you can hear people talk about their college teams. On Sundays, it's their pro teams. We're about to come up in politics. Don't think everybody's not going to try to convince you that their politician that they love is the right one. That's just what we do. That is network marketing. We just happen to get paid when people buy the product. And 2 is insecurity. So I was a little afraid when I first started posting that my brother-in-law would find out. I adore my in-laws. And I thought my father-in-law had just passed away and he had diabetes. And I thought, what if these brothers are predispositioned to diabetes just because their father had it? And what if in 6 months, one of them come to me and say, you knew that this product helped with diabetes, but you were afraid of what I'd say, so you didn't tell me. And now I actually have pre-diabetes or full-blown diabetes. And maybe the products you have could have prevented that. And so I made a conscious decision to not ever let my pride or my insecurity come in between me and telling somebody that I loved about these products. Now, did they buy? No. And that's okay. But they can't come to me and say I didn't tell them. They cannot come to me and say I didn't tell them what the business did or what the products did. And I feel like there's a little bit of security in that no one can come to me and say, I can't believe you knew about this and you didn't tell me. I would really encourage you to message every single person that you love and adore and tell them they don't need to buy from you, but what you need to do is at least let them know what it is so that they can never come to you and say they didn't know. Okay, now let's go from gold to senior gold. Commit today no matter what your timeline is. Okay, let's take timeline out and commit today that you're just going to go gold to senior gold. The average jewel on our team went from gold to senior gold in 2 months. And don't let that discourage you. I know I already hear people going, well, it's already taken me 6 months to go from gold to senior gold. And in fact, I've gone backwards in gold, or I can't get out of 120 points. I try every month and it just never goes any higher. Start today. Start today, January 16th, and say by March 15th, I am going to be senior gold. Do your 2 months right now. Do your growth, do your activity, do all of it now. Start today. Don't worry about how long it's taking you to get where you are right now. Start today with the activities I'm going to give you. Senior gold by March 15th. If you are not senior gold, I want you to write that. If you had more than 200 points last month, you need to do senior gold by February 15th. But if you're less than 200 points, I want you to do senior gold by March 15th. That's a huge goal. Okay. How are we going to do it? You need to have at least 20 active ambassadors by the end of this month. I've broken it down for you a little bit, but here's another thing that I want you to do. I want you to have 50 ambassadors by the end of February. Let's look at February. The team needs to add 30 people. If you end this month with 20 and you need 50 by the end of next month, your team needs to add 30. So your team needs to break it down like this. Week 1, 6 new people for the whole team. If you have just 3 people go silver in that first week, you're set. Then week 2, you need 7 people. Week 3, 8 people. Week 4, 9 people. So week 1 is 6. Week 2 is 7. That's 13. Week 3 is 8. That's 21. And week 4 is 9. And that's 30. And that gets you to 50 active ambassadors by the end of February. Set up your current month to advance the following month. We talked about that. And you want to go senior gold by the end of February, have 50 active ambassadors by the end of this month. I've broken it down for you, but in case you don't understand the graph, I want to explain it to you a little bit. The chart that says how many ambassadors you have to have at the end of each month. So if you want to go emerald by the end of July, these are the answers to the questions. You need to have 20 ambassadors total active on your team at the end of January. You need to have 50 active ambassadors at the end of February. You need to have 100 team members that are active at the end of March. You need to have 175 at the end of April. You need to have 250 by the end of May, 350 by the end of June, and 400 is a safe bet by the end of July, just in case you get some lower levels. Remember, your 1 through 3s are 5 points, but when you start adding 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s, that can really dilute the number of points you get. And so I usually try to multiply it by 4 or 3.5 if you start going really low in levels. Goals are important. Goals are your roadmap. You have to look at them to remind you of where you're going. So all month long, your goal, everywhere you look, on your mirror, in your car, on your computer screen, those are all where you want to get. If you want to go gold, you need to remind yourself how many ambassadors you have left. If you want to go senior gold and you are at 42 ambassadors, you need an 8 sticker everywhere you turn around. Your team needs 8 more new people. One thing I'm going to encourage you is to not rely on your team for all of this addition. You have got to add new people and train them, and then add new people and train them. When I was at Super Saturday, I challenged my team to go out and get your 3 people and let them get their 3 people, and then you turn around and get 3 more. That's how it should always, always be. Okay, so someone asked me what my daily method of operation is. First thing is I do every morning is I check all of my messages, my texts, and my emails. So I want to figure out what's gone on in the last 12 hours since I turned my phone off and figure out where I need to start my day. I forward to my liaison anything that needs to be dealt with by my liaison, or I'll answer the email and message directly. And I will check team pages for activity and approve any posts. I will have a Zoom, an individual training, or a lunch with somebody almost every single day of the week. I follow up with prospects every single day. I have messaged all 200 plus people in this box. And so sometimes I will just follow up with one of them, especially if I see them on Facebook posting, and just say, hey, I just want to make sure you got my message. Hey, did you get the sample I sent you? Whatever it was. And I will follow up with prospects. And then I will write trainings and posts, much of like what we're doing right now. A really great thing to help get you started is our new Success Kit. So this is actually going to be a great guide for you to walk through. You don't have to reinvent the wheel or rewrite the playbook, and it's all in here for you. If you don't know much about our Success Kit, there's a couple of things I want to show you, just so that you can have a daily method of operation. A great place to start is our Quick Start Guide. If you don't have this, let your upline know. They can maybe scan it in for you and send it to you. It gives you about 10 things to really do to get your business started. And then once you get through those 10 things, our new Success Guide that was written with the voice of the ambassador in mind. In fact, you'll see a lot of quotes in here of people that you know. And the Quick Start Guide the Success Guide is going to be key to breaking down each one of these areas for you and really giving you some challenges that you can do. Use this toolbox. This is what it's for. If you don't have one yet, get with your uplines and find out how you can get some of the information out of it until they're available for everybody. I do know that they are going to be available for everybody at some point, hopefully in February, and that date might change as they are getting it shipped in. Okay, here comes the nitty-gritty. Here comes what you really want to know. What activity do I actually have to do? So I'm going to give you actual activity for you to write down, and I want you to start doing it today. Personal recruiting. I know. Everybody wants your team to do it. Everybody's like, well, I've got about 20 people. If they all add 3 people, I'm in really good shape, which is true. But you know what happens is some of those people won't. And some of those people only add 1 or they add 4. So what I want to encourage you to do is to have personal activity. If you are gold, senior gold, ruby, or a senior ruby, you need to be adding 3 new level 1s every single month. If you're not adding 3 new level 1s, you really need to consider what your daily method of operation is, and if you are personally trying to recruit new people. Are you getting out there? Are you doing some of the things definitely in that success guide that are asking you to get outside your comfort zone? I just got a message from a diamond right before I started this call, and she said, you're not going to believe what I just did, but I just cold messaged a stranger. I just saw someone on Facebook on someone else's page that I thought would be really good at what we do. And we don't have any Plexus friends in common. And I just cold messaged her and said, hey, I don't know you, but everything I see looks like you would be phenomenal at what we do. Y'all, get outside your comfort zone. And the next one is that you need to get 3 ambassadors on your team to silver. I would encourage that to be level 1s. And I would encourage you to get 3 level 1s to silver this month. You need to set up face-to-face meetings. In fact, if you need help setting up face-to-face meetings or knowing what to say, both the success guide and your upline will be a great source of information on how to do this. But when you get off this video, when it ends and it says end of meeting, you need to turn around and get a face-to-face meeting scheduled with somebody on your list. You need to set up your Franks list. So we talked at Super Saturday about the Franks list. It's friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, people you know through your kids, and their spousal or service connections. So any of those things will help you. That list is available in your success kit as well. You need to start going through that and making sure that list is, as you can tell, nobody has less than, I think they said the average person has 476 contacts in their life. And so if you say you can't find 100, you need help figuring out what that 100 is. And set up a call. I know, anybody else hate picking up the phone and calling people to prospect? It's awful. But Julia Carty, who's a diamond ambassador on our team, did it. She called, and that is how she grew a good portion of her team. So if you really want this to happen, if you feel like it's not working on Facebook or private message or email, you might want to challenge yourself to pick up the phone and call 5 people out of your Franks list that you're good enough friends with that you can call and say, hey, just bear with me as I kind of fumble through this. I've got to get comfortable with it when I'm going to call other people. Ask your team their goals. And we talked about this, and y'all have all since then seen my goal setting questionnaire. And if you haven't, it's in files on our team page. We just launched it yesterday. But what this does is it breaks down what your team thinks their goals are. What did they do last month? What do they want to do this month? All the way across the board. And then where do they feel like they need help training? Do they need a power partner? And what is their DMO? What is their daily method of operation? And maybe you can help them with those things. I think that's a great way to really insist on training them. So if Karen Tucker, who's in front of me right now, was the training I was doing today, I would pull this out and say, okay, Karen, let's talk about it. This is what you said you wanted to do last month, or this is what you said last month you wanted to do this month. How's it working out for you? And really troubleshooting through her goal-setting questionnaire. And some things that will support these actions is having a team page. If you have 3 runners, you need to start a team page, and you need to start running that page like a jewel. That's a tip from Scott Pankey, is that you need to run your page like a jewel. That's not true. That's from Todd Ross. Run your page like you're a diamond, and that everything you say matters. And do videos for your team. And videos like this are very easy for people to connect with. It's easier than writing out all the words. So I would encourage you to do videos for your team page. And Rainey Anderson, who I did Super Saturday with last week, said that she does a video and she immediately posts it and never watches it back. Because same thing I'm going to do here is I'm not going to watch it back. I'm just going to post it. I know the information's in there. My hair might be out of place. I might say too many times, and I might have crazy facial expressions. That's not going to change when I do it the second time. So it's always a good idea to just go ahead and post the information the way that you said it. Empower your team. Empower them to do what they need to do. Y'all, when I got started, Rosalind was working full time. I only had a little bit of her in the morning, at lunch, and after school. It was very difficult. I definitely didn't have all-day contact with her. I definitely didn't ask for a lot of questions. What I did is Sarah and I called customer service almost every single day. We would ask them comp plan questions. We would ask them return policy questions. We would ask them everything. Y'all, we didn't have the team pages that you had now. At the time, I think we just had the Destination Diamond Dream Team page. We had nothing else. And so if the answer wasn't available on there, we had to call. And so I would encourage you to be your own leader and encourage your team to be their own leader and go find the question. You know, a lot of times y'all will message me and say, hey, Andrea, can you help me with this question? What do you think this is? And how do I get answers on this? And I always send you back to our team pages. our back office, Plexus Power Tools, or customer service. Train out of the success kit. Y'all can train every single person on your team. Pick a topic out of here every day and train specifically out of here. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Again, it's all available to you. And then host events. Y'all, I was looking at these names that y'all asked me about earlier, and I wanted to tell you a little bit. Ellen Ford gained belief at events, at an event in Grapevine where Suzanne Clinton, Celeste Gwynn, and Jenny Hawkins all spoke. That's where she found her belief. Becky Page and Rachael Eagle came to an event Kim Pollock hosted at her apartment complex when they were still kind of not really sure about it. And that's where Becky Page would say she gained her full belief in the company. And that's where Rachael Eagle drove all the way from West Texas just for that meeting, just for that same belief. These things are important. Liza Gressley is a senior Ruby on my team. She came to one of my informational sip and see lunches. And that's where she really saw the value in the company. It is so imperative that you host events, attend events, and not just online events, but person events. And you get to hear people talk about the amazing assets of the company. There are also things like business cards, which I have in my purse, and I never go without them. And there are things like vendor shows. If that is up your alley, that's something that you want to grow your business with, that's perfectly fine. I talked to Chris and Susie McCall recently, who are an Emerald and Diamond couple, and asked them if their kind of quirky way that they do Walmart and all of these things, if that really works for their team. He said, Andrew, what it does is it gives us a new group of people to have on Facebook. So a lot of times they don't sign up right there. They don't even really know what they're doing. But what they will do is they will friend them on Facebook. They will just think it's kind of funny. But then over time, that person will get to watch Susie and Chris talk about with the company, with the income potential, with the product availability. And over time, those people become customers, become ambassadors, really gain belief. They might not have the same, silly system that Chris and Susie have, but they see what the company can really do for them. Okay, and here comes the action. If you are a gold ambassador this month, or if you're, going gold this month, the month of January, I want you, if you're on my team, to send me a screenshot of 20 cold messages. When you do that, I will send you a gift. So, gold this month, 20 cold messages, and I'll send you a gift. You can screenshot them to me on Facebook, private message, but they have to be from the time this started yesterday, just 20 messages by the end of the month. Okay, so my very last point is belief and balance. So we believe in the company. We believe that the products work. Y'all have all heard testimonials. Y'all know that income is available to anybody. We have, I think, 10 people on our team that are already going to Hawaii this year, and we had 7 last year. So we're just constantly increasing, and it's just going to get even bigger. What I want you to do is have balance getting there. So how are you going to do all of this? 15 minutes a day, 4 times a day, 1 hour. Now, if you can give it more, I would definitely encourage you to give it more. The more you give it, the more you'll get out of it. But this is where I want you to start if you feel like you're having a hard time figuring out where to put Plexus in your life. Your first 15 minutes, I want you to just follow up. From all the messages that you've already sent, all of your 531s, anyone you've contacted, I want you to follow up. Your second 15, I want you to send out messages. This is where you're going to do those cold messages. This is where you're going to get with your hundreds of people and just send out and say, hey, if you ever want to try Plexus, I want to be your girl. If you're ever interested, I want to be your person. And then the third 15 minutes, I want you to do training, either personal training if you don't have a team, customer training, and telling them about some of our other products or the benefits of the products they're taking, or third would be the option of team training. And every day you can pick something different. And then the fourth 15 minutes, I think you should follow up again. The fortune is in the follow-up, which I'm sure you've all heard. And whether it's customers or ambassadors, they really do need some follow-up. And so I would encourage you every day to find 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes maybe in the evening to follow up with the people you have contacted. Following up will keep them engaged. Okay, guys, 20 action items, 20 cold messages sent out, plenty of action items, plenty of things to focus on. Comment on when I post this and let me know if you have any other questions. You know I'm always willing to answer them. And I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your January.